I wanted to tell a joke about Wolverine to open today's video, but the ones I know really aren't that clever. Welcome to Lassoed Loot Volume 292, where today I have an A-OK from Omni X-Men's season finale, and I have some books that I traded with John's Comics with Friends. I'm glad that you're here for the unboxing and the fun we're going to have today. I can feel that this is a hefty stack, and I'm excited to get to it. Welcome. By the way, I want to invite you to check out my back issue of the week, because it's Justice League July. So I did a JLA-themed back issue of the week, The Death of the Justice League. That dropped yesterday morning. If you haven't had the chance to check out that short, I hope you'll do so now. This past Sunday, Signature King, Silver Hair Bronze Age Babe, and myself reviewed the Queen of Fables introduction from Justice League 47, 48, and 49. Had a great time doing that too, and you can catch that on the rewind if you hadn't had the chance to see it yet. Glad that you're sticking around for the fun we're going to have in today's video. Let's get this package unboxed. And a great place to begin is with a note. Ryan, congrats on another worthy Omni X-Men prize. Thank you for always being so supportive and kind. You are a wonderful example of people in our community, and I'm so grateful for our friendship. Congrats, John. And I got one of the new John's Comic with Friends stickers. I have many of the original Comics with Kids stickers, but now I got a Comics with Friends, which is pretty awesome. So thank you very much, John. I appreciate that. And it's not just John that we're talking about in today's video, because as I mentioned, there's an A-OK that is tied to this past season's Omni X-Men. I'm not sure what books are in what order, so we'll figure it out. How about that? Okay, I see the Omni X-Men grand prize, and I believe that's the one I'm going to pull out first. So what happened is, at the end of the season for Omni X-Men, the first prize they gave away was what I thought would be the grand prize, or at least was billed as the grand prize throughout the entire season. And I had been trying to earn points and compete because I really wanted this custom sketch cover from the Fraim Brothers. So the Fraim Brothers did a custom for me of Dazzler with Gem of Gem and the Holograms and a little nod to Satin from the G.I. Joe cartoon. I showed that in Comic Book Editions 217. I've been a fan of the Fraim Brothers for quite some time, Brendan and Brian. Hopefully someday I get the chance to meet them, and I want to get more commissions from them. So when I was talking with John after, not this past season ended, but the season before, and I said, hey, you guys gave away a sketch cover, which I won, by the way, and I showed that in Comic Book Editions Volume 263, my grand prize win of that sketch cover. I said, you guys should consider the Fraim Brothers. And John started looking at their work, and he looked at their online store, and he saw this awesome X-Men piece that they had already completed, and he just purchased it. And they had been promoting it throughout the entire season. And I'm like, I have to have that. I absolutely have to have that. And now I do. Check this out. Isn't this awesome? So I should add in that John purchased another custom sketch from the Fraim Brothers. This sketch is on X-Men issue 101 facsimile. Of course, X-Men 101 originally came out in 1976, the facsimile done in 2023. They did a custom sketch cover on a giant size X-Men #1, and John also purchased that and gave that away. And while I didn't win that, I was really happy to win this because, first of all, this comic book holds so many memories for me. You know, in this comic book, it's the first time that Storm displays her trick of like running an electrical current through the molecules of her clothing, reversing the polarity, which enables it to instantaneously transform into her street clothes or from her street clothes into her costume. It's the first time that we know that there's an attraction between Logan and Jean, although he heavily flirted with her in issues before. Nightcrawler is using his image inducer that he got from Tony Stark, and he's disguising himself as actor Errol Flynn. He does that at the airport crash site and then in the hospital as well. Of course, Nightcrawler would love Errol Flynn because of his swashbuckling films and his persona. So there's a lot of cool things about this. My original copy of X-Men 101 was a Christmas present from my grandparents one year, at a time when spending that much on a comic book, spending $20 on a comic book was like unheard of. And they got me that as a back issue one year for Christmas, and I can still see me sitting on that sofa opening that up, and I was just, oh, that feeling. I still remember it. So that's why X-Men 101 is a special book to me. Of course, I love the Fraim Brothers, so this custom sketch from them makes it even more extra special. But I haven't mentioned the fact that this was A-OK to me from Matt, Impressed Comics. So to get back to what I originally was saying, they gave away this, they rolled the wheel first and made this the first thing that they gave away. Oh, and I wanted this so much, so badly. And Impress Comics won, and he instantly said, give it to Ryan. I'm A-OKing it to Ryan. Send it to me. And I was like on the floor, shocked. Thank you, Matt. He said that he had made up his mind ahead of time that if he had won this, that's what he was going to do. And I guess it was meant to be. I had won every year on the Omni X-Men giveaway, but I don't know if I would have won this year. I was trying to let the boys, John and Justin, keep me on the wheel, but they took my name off. I didn't want to stay on the wheel to be greedy. I wanted to be able to A-OK something to someone else, especially Matt, Impress Comics. Although Matt won again, and he got the X-Men Tailored Custom Mystery Box from John's Comics with Friends, which I have won that in the past, and it is pretty awesome. But so they're like, no, we're taking your name off, and Matt will get a chance to win still for himself. But there were other people I would have A-OK'd as well. So I don't know if I ever would have won this year. I had won every year on the stream. I would have A-OK'd it to somebody had I won. So that's the only bummer about it for me, is like, I don't know if I would have won. But congratulations to everyone who won. I'm not going to whine about that anymore. Because look, I got exactly what I wanted thanks to Impress Comics. Back in February, Matt was a guest on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. And we talked Masters of the Universe. He's going to be back on the show later this month, so I'm excited to see what he's going to pick for the review. And I'll have to catch up with him now that the Masters of the Universe movie came out and see if he enjoyed it as much as I did. Thank you, Matt, Impress Comics, for this A-OK. Thank you to Justin and John for another great season of Omni X-Men and having me on for one of the episodes as well. I had a great time hanging out with you as well. And I wish you a lot more success, and thank you for the happiness. It's kind of like a book club for me, kind of like book reading. To get to do that, it's something to look forward to each week during the season of Omni X-Men. So thank you so much, my friends. Thank you, Matt, for this. Thank you to the awesome Fraim Brothers for sharing their talent on this amazing piece, which I proudly have in my collection now. So the rest of this stack is an A-OK/trade that I did with John's Comics with Friends. I'm going to start in on the books as I tell you a little bit more about them. Look at this Mephisto. This is awesome. Of course, this is part of the Timeless variants. One year he did a theme of all heroes, and then he followed it up with one that was all villains. So back in March, I think it was, John's Comics with Friends was going to his LCS and for a big sale that they were having on the weekend. And he knew that I was trying to get some of these Timeless variants. And he said, hey, they got a bunch of, he called me and said, they got a bunch of them, really, really cheap. Do you want any of them? And I said, yes. And I tried to stay, there's a few specifically that I know are in here. And then there's a few that I've tried to keep my eye away from when he's talked about, or showed actually rather, what he got me on one of his live streams. This Mephisto variant shows up on the cover for Scarlet Witch #3. Remember when everyone said that Mephisto was going to be in the MCU, so his first appearance spiked everywhere, and then that turned out not to be true? Someone got that wrong. So as I look at these books, if there's anything that is a key about this particular issue or anything that I might not be aware of, or if I'm not mentioning it, make sure to leave me a comment down below so I know of. We have a Captain America villain, which shows up on Captain America Cold War Alpha, issue number 1. It's Baron Zemo. So that is pretty nice as well. You know, originally when they started with these timeless releases, I was going to try to pick up all of them. And then it just, it was honestly just a financial factor why I wasn't able to. And then I started putting in as many as I could, you know, when I could find them at good deals here and there. And then they did the second wave. And then it felt a little more overwhelming. And now they're doing this new wave, and there's books out right now in this new wave. I think it's called Visions, Marvel Visions, that Alex Ross is doing. And one sense, I'm kind of glad I didn't get all of them because I would feel obligated to get these feature waves as well. But in another sense, I still feel like I'm missing out a little bit. So there is, in this Marvel, in this new wave that they're doing right now, the Marvel, Marvel Visionaries, Marvel Visions, the Amazing Spider-Man issue that came out last week. It's a virgin cover, but it has Yellow Jacket and Wasp on it, and you can see Ultron in the background. I have many times come close to just pulling the trigger and adding that into my collection, and maybe I should. Maybe I will. I don't know. I don't know what to do. Maybe John can find it for me at some point during another big sale at his LCS, Nuclear Comics. Captain America, Sentinel of Liberty, issue 11 is what I'm showing you right now. And this is the MODOK version of the Alex Ross Villains Timeless. Remember when MODOK had a female equivalent, Ms. MODOK? Do you remember that? That's actually a real thing because I have that comic book in my collection. Oh, this is a Nihilus. Is that correct? I believe I'm correct on this. This is one of those that if I knew John picked it up for me, either I had forgotten or more than likely I tried to just not know. Like I said, I told John there was a couple specifically I said, if you see this character or this character or this character, pick it up for me. But if you don't, you know, and just pick up anything else that would fill up a short box is pretty much what I said. So that's why I don't have notes written down for all of these books. As a matter of fact, I'm kind of scrolling a little bit online to see what books these belong to. And I didn't see this one on the list, so we might have to cheat for a quick second and just see what this is. Or what book this is on, rather. Oh, it's on a Fantastic Four, issue number 6. Well, I will enjoy that. I just did the FOC, which was yesterday, for this Fantastic Four book that they have coming out next month, I believe. That's showing some of the best covers that they've had throughout all of the publication run. So I'm looking forward to that. Oh, we have Gargoyle now. Of course, Gargoyle, I know him best as a member of the Defenders. I think he would qualify as a hero and not as a villain. So most of my Gargoyle does come from his appearances in the Defenders. And this comic book is Incredible Hulk, issue number 25. So most of these comic books, if not all of them, come from the year 2023 that I'm showing you from this Timeless series. Do you collect these Timeless or any of these different Alex Ross variants they've done, like the Marvel Dimensions or, you know, Timeless with the heroes or Timeless with the villains? Make sure to leave me a comment below and let me know. I know he kind of looks like Etrigan the Demon. Of course, Etrigan is a DC property. I think this is the Marvel equivalent of it. That's cool. It's Kang time. Yes. We have been reading about Kang the Conqueror in JLA versus Avengers because last month's episode featured Kang, and it was Avengers issue 23. And then this month, that was part 1 of a 2-part story, so he'll be back in Avengers issue 24 for the next JLA versus Avengers. That's a fun show that John's Comics with Friends and I do. The next episode will be on his channel. It rotates monthly, 1 month on my channel, the next month on his channel. and a bunch of fun to do. If you like Silver Age books, you should join us sometime. We have a really good time, and you can help us determine who had the better issue, JLA or Avengers. Let's see what comic book that this variant cover is on. Avengers Forever, issue 15, as my backing board gets caught. Okay, cool. Cool. I hope some of these books are good. I hope they're probably not going to be as good as the covers are, but I hope they are good. I see what is facing up front. Look at that. It's scroll time. Very, very nice. I thought they would do a lot more with the scrolls, or were leading up to do a lot more with the scrolls in the MCU, but I don't know if they've abandoned that plan now or not. This comes from Fantastic Four, issue number 5. It's very, very nice. John, I also want to thank you so much for picking up these books for me. Like I said, we kind of traded some books too, because I was on my way to a comic show when he was at his LCS that was having this big sale, and he found me some books I needed, and then at the comic show I said, hey, are you looking for these? And he was, so we just kind of did a trade. One of the books that I did trade him for was that Wonder Woman 204, which is the first appearance of Nubia. So granted, it was kind of low grade, but still, at least it was a copy to have in his collection until he can get a chance to upgrade it. One of my favorite of the big baddies is Ultron. Of course, I was just talking about him because he is in the background on the Amazing Spider-Man cover that Alex Ross has done. The current issue has a variant with Yellow Jacket, Wasp, and Ultron. This comic book comes from Avengers number 66. And not only do I like Ultron, I like the Bride of Ultron, Jocasta. Will Jocasta ever get herself a timeless cover? Will she ever? I never thought Disco Dazzler would, but she did. Maybe Jocasta. Maybe there's hope for her yet. So he just looks completely terrifying and awesome at the exact same time. Okay, this next one is one that I did request. I said, hey, if you see a Mystique out there, please grab that for me. And this book, or this cover rather, comes as a variant to Rogue and Gambit, issue number 1. Mystique is such a badass. And Chris Claremont made the wise decision, because Mystique originally started out as a villain for Ms. Marvel, the Carol Danvers Ms. Marvel. And when that book got cut short in its run, Chris Claremont was very smart in knowing the potential of this character and just transferring her over to the X-Men universe. Speaking of X-Men, I know that the new season of X-Men 97 is out. I need to spend some time, sit down, and watch that. So that's going to be a priority for me. In all honesty, Apocalypse is not one of my favorite characters, never has been. And I know that he's going to be the focus of this season. So I'm still going to watch it, and I hope that I do enjoy it as much as I enjoyed last season as well. X-Men 97 is such a cool show. Last year at C2E2, I had the chance to meet and walk around and be near some of the majority of the voice cast. The only one that wasn't there on the day I went was Lenore Zahn, the voice of Rogue. Of course, she was there the previous days, but the day I went, she wasn't available to be there. So I didn't get to chat with her, but I remember Allison Seeley, who's the voice of Storm. I was talking to her, and I play it all cool. Then I just walk away, and I'm like, Storm, talk to me. I know that Storm guy would appreciate that. Is this Dormammu? Is this who this is? I think that this is who this is on this new timeless cover that I'm looking at, scrolling through to see if I can find which book that it belongs to. Easiest way to probably do this would just be to open up the book and take a look. So it looks like the site that I'm on has the majority of them listed, but not all of them. So this is Doctor Strange, issue number 1. Well, that makes sense. That seems to be appropriate to be on there, for this image to be on that book. And I think we got 2 more maybe? Or is this... No, we got 1 more. It's just one really thick book. And we saved the big guy for last. It is Galactus. And I thought the portrayal of Galactus last year in the Fantastic Four movie was aces. It's probably as close to a perfect interpretation as we could get. I mean, really, think about how hard it would be to feature Galactus, you know, in a live-action film. I mean, I always thought in the Chris Evans Fantastic Four movies, you know, maybe it's just a giant toe that comes down on Earth, and that's what they have to battle, because that's all we could see of Galactus, because he's so large. But I still need to get that Fantastic Four movie on Blu-ray, actually on 4K, and add that into my collection. Price never seems to drop on that, but I need to get that done. Avengers Assemble Omega #1 is the comic book that this Galactus villain's timeless appearance takes place on, or appears on. That's the variant for this comic book. So I want to say again, John, thank you so much for picking up these books for me. It means a lot to me, as you do and as your friendship does. Thank you to Matt, Empress Comics, for the AOK, which tied in with John's Comics with Friends and No Good Comics and the Omni X-Men show. You guys are awesome. Fanboys Live in the Retro Review has special guest Daryl Young Designs back with us this Sunday, the greatest DC comic show on YouTube, 8:15 p.m. Eastern, 7:15 p.m. Central, here on my YouTube channel. I hope you get the opportunity to join us. Last time Daryl was on, we had a great time. And I'm looking forward to having him back on this weekend. What did you think of what I showed? A lot of good stuff, isn't there? Leave your comments below, as they're welcomed, encouraged, and appreciated. If you're not subscribed to my channel, why not? Have I at least tempted you a little bit with the goodies that I showed? I hope so. Subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. It's a great way to show support. Give the video a thumbs up, a like, because the algorithm digs that as well. Here we're at Lassoed Loot, the end of Lassoed Loot 292. 300 really isn't that far away when I stop and think about it. And I mean, I showed some pretty awesome stuff, like that grand prize Omni X-Men win that was A-OK to me. How can I top something like that? I'm going to have to start working on it. So, we're just going to have to. So, thank you again for watching this week's edition of Lassoed Loot, where our Lassoed goodies are timeless. I'll catch you soon. Take care. Bye for now.